I want you to give a round of applause to Husan Thompson. Husan. Come on, y'all got more energy than that. Give us 3 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you have ever heard the old statement, honesty is the best policy? May I see your hands, please? Okay, very good. Ladies, I'd like to tell you, gentlemen, I'd like to tell you something about myself that you may not have guessed before now. And if the glasses and the braces haven't given you the clue, I'd like to tell you now, I am a nerd. It's true. And I'm that type of nerd, I just want you to know that type of nerd that you might have seen them, maybe in one of your college classes at the last 2 minutes when the professor finally asks, are there any questions? That one kid who says, yes, professor, I have some questions. That was me. Or maybe in high school when you had that Scantron test where you had to fill in the bubbles and all you had to do was look over at your friend and see the answer. But there was always that one kid who covered his test. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was me. Or maybe in elementary school when you had that very excited student who every question the teacher asked, there's some kid who said, ooh, pick me, pick me, pick me. Yeah, that was me. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and one time I remember when I was in the 3rd grade, the teacher gave us this big explanation. This generated all kinds of excitement because she was telling us we were graduating to the 4th grade. And she asked us a very important question on that last day. What do you want to be when you grow up? And for a person who felt like he always had the answer to every question, I was stuck. And I didn't know. And as everyone was going through telling what they wanted to be, some wanted to be police officers and firefighters, I said, wow, that's brave. But it didn't get me any closer to what I wanted to be. Some got creative and they wanted to be princesses and heroes. And I thought, wow, what creativity. But it still didn't get me any closer to what I wanted to be. So when it came my turn, ladies and gentlemen, I gave the best answer I could possibly give. I stood up proudly and busted out in song. I don't want to grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with, from bikes to trains to video games. It's the biggest toy store there is. I don't want to grow up, because maybe if I did, come on, I wouldn't be a Toys R Us kid. Yes, thank you. That's great. And I thought that was awesome, and the class roared and sung with me and cheered and applauded, and I thought I had the best answer possible until I was sitting outside of the principal's office. I realized that maybe I should take this question more seriously, and so that question stuck with me, and I went home to my grandmother's house. You see, I'm a child of a single-parent household, and so after school, before my mom got off, we would go to Grandma's house. And I loved Grandma's house. You see, she had this little garden in her backyard. And I thought it was the most wonderful place because while some of the grandchildren would want to be out in front and play ball, or some of the kids would want to be inside or play video games or play with their dolls, I wanted to be in the garden because that's where me and my grandmother would be able to spend quality time, where she was able to sow in me seeds of excellence and ideas of success. And so that day I went to the garden with my head hung low, and I asked my grandma, what should I be when I grow up? And she gave me some very sage advice. She said, well, everyone wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, or a business chief. And I didn't know what a business chief was, and as I was sitting there in the garden, what I considered the laboratory of life, I declared I wanted to be a doctor. You see, she sowed in me those seeds of excellence, not only the idea of what I wanted to be, but she also sowed in me ideas of who I could be, helping me to raise the standard of what I was capable of. She taught me all sorts of things, like some 4-letter words. My grandmother was the one who taught me adult language. It was my grandmother who taught me all sorts of things. She taught me adult language like creativity and dedication, commitment and imagination. She taught me those 4-letter words like the difference between hope and love, the importance of good and best. And she taught me that F word, ladies and gentlemen, faith. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear you say faith.
Faith.
Come on, let me hear you say faith.
Faith.
My grandmother's the one who taught me about full assurance in the heart. And that full assurance is what gave me the confidence to move on, to take that bachelor's degree in biochemistry, to go on to get my master's degree in curriculum and instruction, to teach science to high school kids. And when I started teaching, I learned that it wasn't about teaching the subject, but it was about teaching the people the subject of science. And when I started doing that, I put myself on this path of passion to make a difference in young people's lives, to make a difference in the lives of emerging professionals, to make a difference in the lives of everyone that I come across, that I have the ability to sow excellence, those seeds of excellence, into everyone's life. And my passion is to sow those seeds in you.